tea time. Did you hear the story about the woman who was completely happily single? And she and her friend decided to go out to the bar to have some drinks and vibe out one night. When they get there, they see this bartender. He's kind of cute, but when they try to talk to him, he's being really mean. He's like not really engaging with them, just kind of blowing them off. And they're like, what's wrong with him? Well, her friend sees it as a challenge. And her friend says, you know what? I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to find out what's wrong and I'm going to get him to smile. Well, her friend goes and talks to him. I guess she kind of breaks the shell a little bit. And she comes back to her and she says, you know what? I think you and him would be perfect together. And she's like, he's mean. And she's like, no, he's not. I think y'all should exchange phone numbers. And after a little bit of coaxing, they do. She texts him and she says, I'm going hiking with my mom and my brother tomorrow. Would you like to come? And he says, yeah. They go hiking together and they have a good time. He's there with her family on their first date. And after that, they continue talking, but she tells him, I'm about to move to Georgia next week. And he's like, yeah, I don't want a long distance relationship, so let's just be Facebook friends. So they become Facebook friends, keep in touch that way. She moves away and eventually moves back. And her friend go out again and they are at an event and they see this man being a bartender. She walks up to him, says hi, and he's like, oh, what's up? He remembers her. But at this point, they're both in relationships, so they're not like, trying to hook up or anything. They end up talking a little bit, on the side, and they end up in their relationships. And as they're spending time together, just as friends, they're not dating because they just got out of relationships, and they start talking about the things that they want. And everything that he's saying he want out of a relationship, she's like, me too, that's what I've been looking for. Like, I don't understand what's this going on in this world, but they just brush it off. Well, eventually she goes to the doctor and she finds out that she is having some kind of disease in her, going through her body, her reproductive system. I think she called it endometriosis, but she's going to have an issue having children if she doesn't have kids right now. Now, remember, she's not even dating this guy. They just Facebook friends, they casually talk to each other, no flirting or anything like that, just hanging out. And so she's like, well, me and him talk all the time. I should at least tell him what's going on with me. So she tells him she needs to talk to him. Something's happening at the doctor, and she wants to, explain it to him. And they go out to a place that serves tea, and they're talking. And she's like, well, I'm having an issue, and the doctor's saying if I don't have kids right now, I'm never going to be able to have them. Like, without her suggesting anything to him, he says, okay, do you want to do this? And she's like, what? He's like, I love you. And I love you in a way that I've never loved anybody else before. And I already know it. I'll be the father of your child. And she's like, wait, okay, I appreciate that, but why don't you take some time to think about it? He's like, I don't need to take time. I know what I want. I make a firm decision, and this is what I want. And she's like, okay, well, let's see how we work through it. And they do. She goes back to the doctor. The doctor examines her and says, all right, we're going to have some surgery. And then after that, it's going to take some time for healing. So if you're planning to have a baby right now, you might have some miscarriages. You might go through a lot of trial and error. It might take a while to conceive. And she's like, oh, even better, because now he and I can get to know each other on a romantic level, and really, vibe with each other. So she goes back and tells him, and he's like, okay, but 2 weeks later, she's pregnant. Like, what? I remember, they had only been officially dating for about a month, and now she's about to have his child. Well, 3 kids later, they're now married. And she said the hardest part was figuring out how to create a team so that they can manage their family, but they finally did it, and they're happy.